our intuition is the energy, it is the inner compass, it's personal power that we all are naturally endowed with to lead our lives in the most beneficial, authentic, blessed way possible. I cannot imagine a life that would be without intuition, because your intuition is your personal truth. Your intuition is your compass to success. It is what keeps you in what I call a state of grace, a state of flow, where you show up right place, right time, making the right decisions for you in each moment as life meets you and unfolds. This is something we all possess, something that we all have, and we're actually conditioned to ignore. It's only a matter of learning how to do this. When that happens, everything gets a whole lot easier. There's a lot of reasons that it's important to use your intuition, because life is difficult. We are faced with challenges with people. We're faced with challenges in terms of our sense of purpose and direction, with our security. How to create lives that support us physically, financially, how to create relationships and understand relationships so that we don't have struggle and pain and heartbreak and drama and at the worst case, actually battles, which are what is going on so much in this planet. Your intuition brings you not just clarity and guidance, but it also gives you insight in how to improve your relationships and how to create and even attract the ones you want. It's not a linear skill. When you develop intuition, it has an exponential effect on your life. A whole constellation of benefits begin to unfold. The very first thing that happens is your fear begins to subside. When fear begins to subside, your energy begins to improve. So your physical body, your physical health begins to become healthier, stronger, more buoyant, more energized. You begin to understand others better, quickly, without a lot of back and forth conversation. You get underneath what's being said and you can tell exactly what is intended. You begin to see obstacles that might have up till now been blind spots that you walk right into, so you can move around them instead of have the crisis. You attract more because you're more aware. So you can see opportunity and your vibration improves. It elevates, so you pull in things that match your vibration. This is what we call synchronicity. And moreover, you begin to download incredibly inspirational, creative ideas. So instead of feeling stuck and trapped and at the mercy of other people, economies, and all the dead ends that life presents to you, you see your way to have and create the possibilities that you know intuitively, you know inherently are there for you. So everything improves. Everything. So that's why it's so important to reactivate this inherent inner gift. You just can't live a life that fulfills your dreams, that feels safe, that feels good, that feels abundant, prosperous, energized, and in love without it. So from the simplest, right place, right time, to falling in love, to saving your life, to prospering, that's a function of intuition. Find that courage and find that energy to make that leap and go with that inner wisdom that's trying to get your attention, because it brings only good end results, better than you can ever possibly figure out with just your logic brain. Your intuition is that ingredient X that will help you solve and find inspiration around the things that normally are painful in your life. That's the biggest reason. Pain in your love life, that's important, or even in any part of your relationships. Life is relationships. And intuition helps create a fluency in relationship and understanding, and draws in connection so you can engage with the kind of relationships you yearn for. That's a really important motivation, and it gives you the impulse, the insight, and how to take any relationship and either attract it, if say you're looking for a job or a partner or a new place to live. Those are relationships connecting you to what it is that's in your best interest, and actually not just yours, but in the best interest of all concerned. Everybody wins. Another big source of pain, especially right now in the world, is insecurity about your money, about your finances, about the means to take care of your basic needs and move beyond basic needs. Actually live a life with a little abundance, a little prosperity. If you're just using your left brain exclusively and not your intuition, it really is more combative. It's like, how can I figure this out? Me against the world. It doesn't look like there's much possibility, where intuition shows you the open doors. It shows you where opportunity meets your creativity. It guides you to the places that can merge with you so prosperity can happen, creativity can explode. Health. Life is stressful and our bodies get worn down. Intuition tells you how to take care of your body. Should I be the vegetarian? Should I eat the meat? Should I drink the coffee? Should I run 1,000,000 miles a day? All the things the world tells you, but maybe your body is unique. Intuition, more than anything though, I think the best thing that it does is that I believe it resolves a very basic loneliness that people feel. Kind of a sense of disconnect, a sense of, I'm trying to find my way in this crazy world and where I belong, how I can feel that I am where I need to be and feel connected to what I'm yearning to be connected to. So there is a deep spiritual reward. You connect with your own genuine, authentic self, and that's a healing. That fills that void that so many of us try to fill with money or stuff or work or even addictions of substances. Intuition fills the void. It heals that core wound in you because it guides you back to who you really are and helps you fall in love with that. So, from the most mundane, where are my keys, where's my car, to the most profound, who am I? What is my purpose? How can I feel good about myself? Your inner voice, your inner guide is the only answer to that, is the only way to that kind of grace and flow and peace in your life. And that's why I feel like in this day and age, it's not something, fun to have on the side. I think it's essential. It's non-negotiable. We need it. We need this connection to have a life that feels good. Inherently, everyone is intuitive. I'm sure you've had a moment, or you've had your moments, or you've had your glimpses where I felt that, I sensed that. Perhaps what happened was you had the feeling, the guidance, the sense, the aha. Maybe you didn't act on it as you should have, or trusted it. Maybe the disconnect was that even though you were made aware energetically, you were made aware, it came to your attention in some way that this is a feeling that I'm having, but maybe you ignored it or didn't feel safe to test it or didn't feel safe to go with it. And that's where most people get stuck, because we're naturally primed to be intuitive, but we get conditioned to say, be sure, you gotta be safe, how do you know? How can you explain this? And if you can't go with it. So you lose your moment. I call that being a member of the woulda, coulda, shoulda club of missed opportunity. So we just have to solve that disconnect. We just have to reestablish a follow-through. The first thing I'd like you to think about is, can you recall the last time you had an intuitive feeling? Think about, and do this right now, your last intuition, and just say it out loud. What happens if you just say, I felt this? Because the key is most people don't give intuition a voice. When you voice your intuition, you bring it alive. You give it power. To say, I felt this is also saying it happened. It was real. Think about when you had an intuitive aha that you did follow through on. We all have at least one because it's so compelling when you get an intuitive hit. So think about it. Can you recall where you did show up, or you did say hello to that person, or you did pick up the phone and make that call, or you just drove and took a different way to work and it worked out? So look for the little things, not the big things, and name them out loud. I had this hit and it worked out. I had this feeling and I ignored it. I had this sensation. So that's the beginning, to notice. One of my favorite definitions of intuition is to notice the subtle, to pay attention to the subtle. So just by starting to acknowledge it verbally, you turn the light back on. And then maybe notice where it might have worked. Say it out loud. Notice where it didn't work, that you ignored it, and what might have happened there. These are just little ways to bridge you, to kind of wake it up, kind of acknowledge that you do have intuition. And I bet if you did this for 10 minutes, when you notice intuition, it's like noticing stars. First it's this one, and then this one, and then pretty soon this one. And when's the last time you looked up? There, boom, there's the whole Milky Way overhead. So that's the beginning of activating your intuition, noticing where it is already in your life, and noticing what you're doing about it. Are you listening? Are you not? And in what areas? This is another important thing. Intuition follows what you love. So maybe in your work, you're having kind of an intuitive flow. So look also for the areas where it might be working. Maybe it works with your family, with your kids, for example, or with your significant others. You're pretty tuned in, but maybe not at work. Or maybe in your hobbies, you're intuitively an athlete. You're intuitively able to perform, but maybe not in another area. So these are just some interesting things to notice. Somewhere in your life, it does work. So just notice that and name it out loud. Then you kind of get the bug. You kind of wake up the juju, the mojo, the energy. It's like turning a system on, and it starts to get exciting and available, like turning on a machine that's been so shut down, and all of a sudden, boom, it starts to come alive. And so I'd like to take you through a couple of exercises that will kind of lead you from just being that strictly left brain to coming over and activating the right brain, and then being whole-brained to start engaging the heart. So the very first exercise is to create a space energetically in which you can actually begin to sense more subtle energy. So the first thing I'd like you to do is just bring to mind the troubles, the challenges, the specific areas of confusion in your life where you're not clear, you don't feel secure. And let's just create what I call your room to breathe. First thing I want you to do is I want you to feel the tension in your body and in your emotions and in your mind as you try to hold on and manage all this uncertainty. It really is, it's like you're trying to keep yourself from being overwhelmed. So you might be trying to hold on, or you might be trying to push away, but there's something there. I want you to breathe in as deeply as you can, being aware of this tension. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth, and as you close your eyes, exhale as though you're breathing out blowing out 10 birthday candles, and completely empty your lungs. And when you're done, you'll instantly inhale again, but you'll notice that you inhale much more deeply into your lower lungs, into your belly, which is where you activate intuition. So inhale. Again, exhale. Completely emptying your lungs, then inhale again. Now the third time you exhale, I want you to exhale from the center of your heart and do it a little bit differently. I want you to open your heart, relax your throat, ease your jaw, and let out the sound, ah. And with that, you're going to begin to see an energy that begins in the very center of your heart, begins to open up and begins to expand and moves in all 6 directions. So allow that energy to begin to almost see it like when the sun breaks on the horizon in the morning. It's this blinding light that comes up. That's the light of your spirit. And allow it to travel through your body, beginning to travel through every cell in all 6 directions, and then move beyond the edges of your body into the space around you, traveling this light as you breathe. Begin to see this light expanding above you and below you. And breathe. See the light expanding from the center of your heart throughout your body to the space in front of you, and moving from the back of your heart throughout your whole body and the space behind you. And breathe. Coming back to the very center of the heart. Inhaling again and expanding the light to each side, pushing out all that disturbs your mind, troubles your emotions, and leaves you feeling ungrounded and unsafe. Just filling the space with this beautiful, clear, grounding, purifying light of your spirit. And just sit in that quiet space. And as you breathe, you'll begin to notice that your body is calm. And breathe. That your emotions that may have been like troubled waters have become like a nice still lake. As you breathe. Your mind, which was like maybe winds and hurricanes blowing through, is now perfectly calm and peaceful. And breathe. And in this room to breathe, you are available to receive, sense, make contact with what is true for you, your spirit, in present time, without effort, without struggle, just receiving as it rises from your very center of your heart. It's radiant, informing, healing life. And breathe. Staying in this space, intuition informs energetically, so I'm just going to invite you to stay and breathe and relax and ask your higher self, your spirit, the part of you that you can call the one who knows what's true for you, what's best for you. Allow that energy to clear out the cells in the cellular body, clear out confusion in the voices of others. Allow that energy to clear out the intrusions that cause you to doubt yourself and override your own inner wisdom, and just breathe. Not thinking, just receiving. Just receiving an informing energy, an informing healing light. It clears out all the attempts that the outer world is making to take you off your path. And imagine that your higher self, this beautiful inner light, is intercepting and deflecting, protecting you from all those attempts to confuse or hijack you into behaviors and choices that are not yours. And just know, sitting in this room to breathe in this energy, that you are being naturally recalibrated back to your center, your truth. I'm going to bring your attention back to the moment by asking you just to gently rub your hands together, feeling the warmth of your palms. Pull your palms apart and you'll feel this subtle energy traveling from one palm to the other. And as you breathe, just feel this energy and place it over your closed eyes. And use the finger to gently tap on what is known as the third eye, the intuitive eye that's right between your eyebrows and just maybe an inch above. Just tap as you breathe, activating that inner eye. This is the eye that has vision, that has imagination, that sees from within, beyond the surface. And breathe. And bring your hands back now down to your waist. Sit them on your lap. Open your eyes gently and let them travel to the floor, and breathe. Feeling the clarity of your spirit, and no rush. Bring your eyes now gently, soft eyes to eye level. And feel the peace and the clarity and the possession you are in now of your own inner wisdom. And breathe. Allowing your eyes to gently travel to the space above you, reorienting to the third dimension, but still connected to your spirit, your clarity, no intrusion. Breathe. Let out a sigh. Ah. And then anchor this energy, stabilize this energy by bringing the corners of your lips up to your ears in my favorite yoga pose. And smile, which pulls the curtains of the heart back, and gently allow yourself to come back to center. And notice this energy. Pay attention to this vibration, because what you'll notice, and it's very essential to intuition, is you are now in what is a listening vibration. The mind isn't talking, the emotions aren't screaming. Your awareness is listening to energy, to vibration, listening to what feels harmonious with your spirit, what resonates with you. So this exercise just took 3 minutes, but it brings you into a place where you are available to your intuition and liberated from all the intrusions of the world. So step into your room to breathe whenever you are seeking guidance and you can't get there. And then when you're done, you can just kind of stretch, and then I recommend that you sit and see if any ahas came to you in this moment. And if they do, either say them out loud or write them down. Even if it's, I'm safe. I don't have to worry about my job. I don't have to worry about being unloved. I don't have to worry about not meeting my needs. Maybe it's nothing more than that, but just ask yourself, when it comes to my worries, what does my inner self say now? What is my inner self guiding me to know? This is the perfect place. Step 2, just put your hand on your heart. Think of a question like, should I quit my job? And notice the mind has its own opinions. No, you'll never make it. You need the money. It's scary, whatever. And with your hand on your heart, take a breath and just say out loud, my inner voice, my intuition, or my spirit, which is my preference. My spirit says, and let yourself speak your truth and see what comes. Now here's the thing about that. It's like, well, how do I know what my spirit says? Am I just being wishful thinking? So here's what I want you to pay attention to. Pay attention to how the energy feels in your body. And when you say my spirit says, for example, I just took a client through this the other day and she said, my spirit says it's not time to quit yet. It was a disappointing answer, but I asked her, is that true? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Is that true? Breathe, and with your hand on your heart, ask your spirit to answer. When she breathed and answered, she said, it is true. I have a little more to learn at this job. It's not quite the time. And she felt peaceful. So that's what you look for. When you answer out loud, how does your body feel? Is it contracted? Because if it's contracted, that is not your peace. That's your intellect. And if it's open and relaxed, if there's space in you, that's your intuition. And that's how you know the difference. Now, what happens when we go to our intuition, perhaps what makes people feel a little hesitant is that we do go into an open energy. And an open energy feels vulnerable. And vulnerable in our culture is like, oh no, danger. But in fact, I'd like to give you a different word so that you can recognize that it's not dangerous, it's actually empowering. And that is the word available. Intuition and taking our steps toward intuition is becoming more available to our deeper, heartfelt, empowered humanity, our empowered divine self in our human form. So, it's a practice. It's something you can practice. Room to breathe is a practice. Another practice, and this is a very good and very simple practice. Ask yourself, say, I can't make up my mind, I don't know what I want, that's a big common question when you come to intuition. What do I want? I'm confused. What does my higher self want? What's my purpose? So ask yourself 2 questions, one after the other. And the first question is, what do I want? And I want you now to just take a moment as I ask you, what do you want? And just answer out loud what you want. Whatever pops into your head. Could be I want security, I want money, I want love, I want a partner, I want to move. Okay. And that first answer, notice the vibration of that. Okay? Just notice the feeling of those things. And I want you to take a breath. I want you to open up the jaw so you hear a click in your ear. And as you take a breath, you'll feel this whole throat, heart, opening up. And then ask yourself, but you're going to ask your deeper self. I'm going to talk to your deeper self, your true self, your authentic self, your spirit. And I want your spirit to answer now. What does your deeper self want right now? And answer that. Again, we come back to a listening state, a feeling state, a state that is more profound. What does my deeper self want? and answer out loud. And it's quite possible that they're very different things, or at least deeper versions, deeper, more immediate, more truthful yearnings. That's your intuition. Now here's the exciting thing. We are co-creators. And when we really can say what my deeper self wants, we can get tuned into that, the universe perks up. It doesn't respond to the superficial. It responds to the deeper, the profound. So now your higher self, the universe, can say, I'll help you with those deeper yearnings. So you've just put yourself in a state of receiving. Then we ask the next question. And we're going to talk to the surface again. What must I let go of? And answer out loud. These most likely will be what your logic brain has figured out. And take a breath again. Opening the jaw, bringing the energy deeply in. And just sit for a moment. Asking your deeper self. What must I do to open for these deeper experiences so that I might receive and connect with these deeper experiences? And again, answer out loud. And in the answering, I believe you'll notice it's a very different feeling. It's a different energy. It comes from a deeper place. Intuition comes from the bones. It comes from the center of your cells. It comes from the deepest place in your heart and organs. And when you answer the second time, afterwards, just feel that energy and ask yourself, is it true? Is this true? Am I feeling truth? Am I tuning into truth? And breathe. And let out the sound, ah. And I recommend as you come back to the moment, and again, it's always good to just kind of rub your hands together. This time you can place them on your heart. Maybe pull one down now to your belly to kind of anchor into that place that feels like you need to be safe. And just say, okay. Okay. And if you have a moment after this little exercise, even I recommend you write down what came to pass, what came to your awareness. Now at this point, I want to just stop and say that with intuition, just letting yourself voice it is a breakthrough. And do know on the other side of that you have a choice. You can listen or not listen. But at least you've opened up the channel so that you can receive what you need to receive. This exercise, if you do it on every question you have, will be quite profound. Your intuition wants to bring you to a place of deeper self-integrity. And that's what this exercise, when applied to life, it brings you back. And integrity means wholeness. And so it's a very good exercise. And it will give you, it will inform you. And then you have a choice. You can go with it or not. But at least now you know something you didn't know before. Intuition isn't just something you can kind of reach for once in a while, but ideally, and the way I teach it, is that it really gets woven back into your entire system so that it becomes part of the way you live. Not just a grab it here, grab it there, oh, maybe in this circumstance, because it's your wisdom. And we are not fragmented beings. We are designed to live in a holistic way. So, of course we'll use our logic, but it's not like, is this logic or intuition? Einstein said it best. He said, our inner wisdom is our sacred gift. The rational mind, its faithful servant. Your intuition is part of everything. And your logic mind can then begin to support it. It's a way of listening that allows and affords you more insight, more information, more awareness than your logic brain can do. It's limited. And it opens you up to a way of living where you're constantly available to being informed, to being guided, to being shown more than what isn't shown. This is my love. I have devoted my life to teaching this, and I really do know what works. I've refined tools, I've worked with people, I've watched what happens. So I've put together this course because not only will it tell you what you must do to be intuitive, but I also know people pretty well. So I've created tools that are exciting and interesting. I've put together this course, Tune In, as it's sort of a distillation of the best of the last 30 years of my life teaching. And I've created a step-by-step home study process that's just so exciting and so effective. First, there are 14 videos that you can watch that will be similar and even more in depth than what we've already done, with very specific tools. Every single lesson has its own tool. And the exciting thing is that it's not that you have to learn all the tools. Learn a few, but I give you so many that you'll know which ones are really the best and most preferred. But it's almost like stringing pearls together. They begin to flow one into the other. In addition, I talk to your deeper self through very powerful guided meditations, because I'm a person who works with such deep intuition that I can transmit a vibration. And I'm sure you've felt it. So you'll entrain to the intuitive vibration. You'll feel that, you'll get into the flow of that deep intuitive frequency. And these meditations really do help you drop into your deeper self. On top of that, there's a workbook, a really powerful workbook that you can use to organize, because your left brain wants to be involved. It doesn't want to be left out. So the workbook helps you get organized, to track your progress and begin to see how things are changing. And plus, you'll have evidence in those workbooks. You start writing things down, and all of a sudden they're the best book you own, because it's like, I got that, I see that, it's happening, it's working. And then, because it's a practice, and we got to work those intuitive muscles, we have a worksheet that you can follow for 21 days, because it's sort of like doing your little psychic calisthenics, doing your little sit-ups. And these muscles, the exciting thing about these muscles is they get strong quickly. So it's not like you're hoping that you have to wait a long time. These are pretty immediate result tools. That's why I put them together. I picked the best of the best of the best of the best of what works. So the whole thing, the experience of the whole thing is available to you and I know how people learn. So that's why I created the course the way I have. Because you can go to it at any time. It's not like you have to show up at a scheduled time with me. You can work this course on your own. And as you go through it, you have all the tools available, all the information. And then you can find your own way of learning. Like, for example, some will just zip right through the whole course. Just one after the other, and then go back and work each one at your own pace. Another one may work a series and work with the workbook, work with those for a while and go back. The beauty is it's available to you. It's available to you forever. And here's something I've experienced in the feedback I've experienced. My students say they worked it through once and they got amazing results. Started at the beginning, did it again, got a whole new different set of amazing results that built on the first set, went again and did it again and had still even more aha, more expression, more excitement, more strength in their intuition. So basically you can't lose. I mean, you need this. You need this. You need this to be happy. You need this to be peaceful, successful. You need that connection with you. And I hope that I can facilitate that through this course. To give you, provide for you everything that you need. And I can assure you that working with Tune In, you'll succeed. You will tune in. You will become whole brain. You will become heart-centered. It works.